let's get into it. So their turn 0 of Rage Spectre, Count Your Blessings, is a little annoying, but it does tell us exactly what we're dealing with here. So what we want to do with this hand is one of two things. We can pitch the Graveling to send Claw, and then Arsenal the Blood Rush, and say, on my next turn, unless I have an absolutely wild hand, I'm going to block 2 cards, I'm going to pitch a blue, and send Shadow of Blazafet, and get Howl into Banish, right? Turn 2, Howl is in Banish, and we're cruising, right? This is a Counter Blessing deck, we know the game is going to go long. Howl is going to get, like, plus 12 damage, which is insane for a red. Insane for any card, really. The other option is obviously the Blood Rush, which you sent, but now Blood Rush has a 50-50 of doing absolutely nothing, right? If we hit the Shadow of Blazafet, there are a bunch of 2-card draws out of the deck, which mean that we go Claw, Claw, pass, IP 1 or 2, which is not where we want to be, right? We're looking to maximize damage we send off our power cards. Tossing a power card in the bin like that is not a good idea. So here, you do send the Blood Rush, and you get paid off. We get to keep the Shadow of Blazafet. So here we do Claw, off the Deadwood, and you opt to send the Swing Big, right? So the Swing Big is plus 2 damage. They're not blocking 18. If they are blocking with 18, they have no cards left in hand. And we're fine with that. So sending Swing Big is plus 2 damage, which is cool, but sending Shadow of Blazafet is minus 2 damage on this turn. But we get Howl. Howl is plus 3 damage for free 99. Free 99. We want free damage. A single play of Howl is plus 1 damage on this line. So here, I disagree with the Swing Big, not just for the plus damage, but also Swing Big leaves us with 3 cards in graveyard. Shadow leaves us with 4. Plus 1 card, because these Counter Blessings decks don't attack as much, we are looking to fill our graveyard as much as possible, because it's entirely possible that we get caught in a situation, especially with no recursion in Banish, where we can't banish and we have like 10 Blood Debt or something, and then we die and we cry about it on Twitter, and we DM Brian Gottlieb about how Leviathan needs to be more powerful. So you choose to Swing Big, they take a bunch of damage, and pass to your next turn. Now here we have Tear Limb, and we have Hungering Slaughterbeast. These are the cards that I am looking to put in Arsenal. Prefer Tear Limb, but if we can Arsenal the Hungering Slaughterbeast, that's fine too. If we send Tear Limb here, we're going to pitch a blue. We have 1 resource floating. We're going to discard one of the 3 cards we draw. Best case, we draw a blue. We keep the blue. So we have 4 resources. Clean this up a little bit. We have 4 resources. This is gone. One of these 2 is gone. If we have 4 resources and we kept the Hungering, we're eating good. 3 into 12. 15 damage off 4 cards. That's what we want. If we draw a yellow and we keep the Hungering, we're now just at 12 damage off 4 cards. Perfectly on rate, not where we want to go. God forbid we discard the Hungering and we draw a red Graveling or a red Unworldly. What do we do? We go Claw, no Arsenal? So 6 damage off 12 cards? Instead of sending this Tear Limb, what I would do is I would send the Send Packing, and then Arsenal the Terror Limb, and just IP1. Just IP1, and it's okay. Sometimes we IP1, or roll Scabs, right? If we get a 1, I Arsenal the Terror Limb, and I say it's a Counter Blessings deck, I'm probably not going to take a lot of damage. And if they're not threatening damage, I don't care. They can gain as much life as they want. We have almost infinite damage. So if I get a 1, I eat it. I leave my gamblers alone. I don't touch them. I Arsenal my Terror Limb, and I move on with my life. I want to send Terror Limb off a 5-card hand because I want to have as high a chance as possible to go Claw into 12, which is an 18 damage turn off Terror Limb, which is exactly where we want to be. We want all of our power cards to enable 18 damage turns. You opt to just send the Terror Limb, and we hit the slight fail rate of getting a yellow, keeping the send packing, so we can only send 12 damage 4-card hand, which is perfectly on rate, but again, not where we want to be. They opt to say no blocks, so they send a bunch of damage at us. I'm sorry, they opt to block 2 and then send Enlightened Strike at us. I apologize, it's a different turn. So here we have an iffy hand. Not the best, not the worst. My initial instinct is to either block with one of my Go Again sources and send Endless Maw, getting this back into the deck, or right here, our goal is to be at about life parity. So if we take 7, we fall to 33, right? Which is about life parity, which is exactly where we want to be. And if we take 7, what that allows us to do is send Endless Maw for 9 into Arsenal Shadow Realm Horror, or Arsenal Dread Screamer, depending. I guess you have to make a decision before you see what Endless Maw banishes. This allows us to maintain a 2nd AP going forward, and also allows us to send 9 damage. Obviously, we take an extra 3 damage here, but that's fine. That puts us at about life parity and threatens 9 on them, which is huge overvalue. Your line of blocking with the Endless Maw and then sending the Shadow Realm is fine. Except I would want to preserve the Shadow Realm I want to put the Shadow Realm back in deck for a turn, or save the Shadow Realm in Arsenal for a turn where I can better use it. Right, this is just 7. The breakpoint is irrelevant on this turn. The only difference between 7 and 6 on this turn is that they lose 1 more life. We don't care about that right now. We want to preserve the breakpoint for when we need to pop some form of ward. And make them give us 2 cards or a piece of armor. But arsenaling, getting that 2nd AP into Arsenal is great. Absolutely love that. That enables us to carry more damage through turn to turn and ultimately present more damage in the long run. Now here, they have decided to keep a 3-card hand, and they send a Mirror Guy at us. On this turn, would block here because I do not have Howl in Banish. I do not have any recursion in Banish against a Counter Blessings deck. I would block 3 here, right? So I would be at 29 right now. And instead of declaring no blocks, which you did, which brought you to 28, I would block 3, and then I would land at 28. So this is where our life totals would about match up. And then I would send the Shadow of Blasphephet to get that Howl in Banish, because I want that turn over turn value. I thrive on that turn over turn value. We want to keep this in Arsenal for a better turn. This turn sucks. Hate this turn. I want to keep Dread and ban it. I want to keep Dread in Arsenal for a better turn. On top of that, if we go up to 3 Blood Debt for a Howl is still going to be worth like +9 damage minimum. I think all of us would take 3 to send 9. So take 3 to get that Howl into rotation with Shadow and send 9. Here you choose no blocks. You're looking for I guess a Shadow of Blasphephet into like Ghostly turn, but we don't have to play this game yet. I like Scabbies. Scabbies are plus value. We don't have to play this game yet. Don't play this game unless you have to. Scabbies requires wisdom as well as courage. So here, theoretically, right, we could break chain and send this Boneyard Marauder, right? We would have 3 cards if we break chain because this would go to the graveyard, but then we'd be left with 0 cards in graveyard, and we would have no recursion, so we would be up creek without a paddle. Actually, we would have 1 card at the end of the turn cycle. So on this turn, I appreciate that you didn't send the Boneyard after the Dread Screamer, but I still think that blocking for 3, getting this recursion piece in Banish, and taking 3 is fine. It feels underrated on the turn cycle, and certainly we dropped to 26, but you know, the idea is we're getting +9 value. So we Arsenal, we IP1, that's whatever, but keep in mind here that they have decided I'm not going to block any damage. I'm going to take all 6 damage to keep a 5-card hand. This means that they probably have a big play coming up. With this hand, knowing that they probably have a bunch of damage or disruption coming up, I'm looking at this hand, and especially since I don't have Go Again in here, I'm saying, cool, these cards are going in the graveyard. That's where they're going. I'm not doing anything else with them. I might even be blocking with Endless Maul. I don't know. But these 2 cards are certainly going in the graveyard. Immediately I have that plan. So as we see, they send 4 into 3 into 6. Or 4 into 3 into 6 into 1. Blocking with the Boneyard on this first 4, where are we? Nope, where are we? I really wish we could share replays. Blocking with the Boneyard on this first send for 4 opens you up to some trouble, right? Count Your Blessings decks love to be able to go like pitch a blue plus Tunic to have 4 resources to send Count Your Blessings plus like some disruptive piece, right? Giving this block here when you know they have more damage, right? Remember, they took 6 damage to keep a 5-card hand. Giving this block here means that now you either have to commit armor, which we don't have a lot of, and you definitely want to save Carrion Husk for a more important turn like a Blood Rush turn, or you have to give up an Endless Maul to prevent another 3 damage, which we're not looking to do, right? I want to send the Endless Maul. Again, I will take 3 damage to send 9 damage. That's what I was looking at doing last turn. You keep doing that turn cycle over turn cycle, that's plus 6 damage every turn cycle. That will win the game pretty quick. So here we take another 3. Fortunately, we're paid out by that decision. They follow up with the Restless, and we give the Dread Screamer on the block 3, and we can just send the Endless Maul. They had no disruption. That's not always going to be the case, and there will be plenty of turns where you aren't paid out like that, and instead you get hit with some Arsenal disruption, or they send a Weakest Link, and theoretically you have a Pearl in your hand. So that's just a place you could tighten up your play there. This turn, no complaints, loved it, great. We even got the full 16 off the Terror Limb. That's exactly what we want. That's exactly, or 18 off the Terror Limb. That's where we want to be. Who cares if we don't have an Arsenal? This is a power turn. On this turn, I love the block here. We effectively get the card back with Beast Within getting hit off Blood Rush. And of course, this turn is only doable in Levia. I mean, that was the perfect Beast Within hit. I think the only way it's more perfect is if it also hits Ghostly, but we're not complaining. So no complaints here. We get to this decision point here. Where are we? Where there we are. Where we have hit with Shadow of Blasmafet, and we have to make a decision. Now, they've shown a more aggressive slant, which leads me to believe that Ghostly is the better choice, just because it looks like they're trying to use Counter Blessings less to fatigue us and more to just make it so our damage doesn't stick as well as theirs does. So Ghostly is a good choice for that. If they're playing a slower deck, we go for the DRE because we want literally any random blue in our hand to be +6 damage. A few other times in this replay, I've said I want to trade 3 block for 6 damage. Trading a blue 3 block for 6 damage, for 9 damage, which is +6 value. That's exactly where I want to be every turn cycle. I think your decision of sending Ghostly for the context of this game was good. For the context of a slower game, you definitely want to send the Deep-Rooted Evil. This turn, you played this turn well as well. Sent the Dread and then rolled Scabs. We got the +2 AP, which is great. That allows us to send the Send Packing into the Ghostly. That's why they're there. That's why Scabs are great. I will continue to preach Scabs to everyone who will and won't listen. And now we get to this turn. You played this turn differently than I would have. I like the way you played the turn. And I will definitely be taking some tips from this turn. I would have checked for Beast Withins. At this point, I don't remember how many. We know we've hit a Beast Within, right? Because we just hit it on that Blood Rush turn. So we have no Beast Withins. So we are forced into the Spoiled Skull play, which you make. We hit. I love the DRE grab off the Call to the Grave. That's exactly why it's there. And obviously Blood Rush hitting was incredible. Now here, where do you pull up your graveyard? I want to see your graveyard. Here. I'll get it eventually. Where do you pull up your graveyard? You pull up your graveyard and you take a look and you see that you have more misses than you would like. So right here, we're looking at the graveyard. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 misses. Let's use the math primer I posted. 6 out of 12 is also known as 1/2, right? So we have 6 out of 12 chance to miss times 5 out of 11 chance to miss times 4 out of 10, which is also known as 2/5 chance to miss. These cancel out. These cancel out. We are left with a 1 out of 11 chance to miss, which is approximately 9.1%. Dread Screamer has a 9.1% chance to miss. You have played to a greater chance to miss earlier in this game. Played the Dread Screamer. Played the Dread Screamer 100% of the time. Because 91% of the time, 91.9% of the time, actually, this is 6 into 10, 16 damage, right? Obviously, we don't have an arsenal, but it's a Blood Rush turn. We don't expect to have an arsenal, and certainly having a 21 damage Blood Rush turn is really good. But I understand why you didn't send it. You were like, there's too many misses. Again, though, we want to get this back out here. We want to get this back out here, right? We want to get these two back into circulation, and we've got to get these misses out at some point, right? We can't just let them sit there the entire game. So Blood Debt's already taken care of this turn. Let me clean this up, make it a little bit cleaner. Blood Debt's already taken care of this turn. It's okay if we somehow miss. We're not going to take 11 damage to Blood Debt. You keep all of these misses around, we're running the risk of taking 11 damage to Blood Debt. So send it here. Send the Dread into the Swing Big. Super low chance you miss, and a very high chance, and I guess not a very high chance, but a decent chance that we get our best pieces back where we want them to be. So you opt for the safe play of Claw, Swing Big, arsenaling the Dread Screamer, which is fine, by the way. Claw, Swing Big, arsenaling the Dread Screamer is a 20 damage turn. We technically lose... No. sorry, 23 damage. The Dread Screamer into Swing Big play is 23 damage. I apologize. So we lose 3 damage on the turn, but we do get to roll this Dread Screamer over to the next turn, which of course is something that we want to do. And here, this turn with the Dread Screamer in Arsenal, you played it perfectly well, right? The Dread Screamer hits here. You are paid off so incredibly well. Oh boy, come back. You are paid off so immensely by this Dread Screamer. You hit everything. I mean, absolutely everything. So I look at this and I say that they're at 3, right? They're at 3. They have 4 cards in hand. We're already threatening 10. They have at most 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 life. I'm threatening 10 of their 18 total life. So here we see that they actually would have had 19 life. That's fine. I'm counting 3 blocks, maybe a single 4 block, except these even it out. So here we know that one of these cards doesn't block, right? We know that they just got this chi into their hand, so we know that they have 3, 6, 7 block. They are at 8 life. If they have another D-React, they are at 9 life. So here we have the Gambler's Gloves, right? If they don't have a D-React, this into this kills them, which is what you did. Game's over. Good job. However, if they have a D-React, that doesn't kill them. We roll over into their next turn. They create a Spectral Shield, and now they get another life rolling over into the next turn. Alternatively, they can also pitch into Footsteps and make sure that they're at 9 to 10 life, right? However, we have the Gambler's Gloves. We can roll Scabs. If we miss, we have the Gambler's Gloves. We have a 1 in 6 chance to miss times a 1 in 6 chance to miss. Blood Debt is already turned off. It's okay if we miss. Obviously, it's not ideal, but it's okay. A 1 in 36 chance is a very low chance for anything to go wrong. Again, where is my calculator? I closed it. Wonderful. 1 out of 36. I don't have this number stored in my head. This is 0.27 repeating. You have a 2.7% chance for this to end poorly. I would roll because getting 2 AP guarantees this game ends. You send, Hal, Deep-Rooted Evil for 9. They give you everything they have, right? They go to nothing, and then you send Ghostly for 4, and they die. Ultimately, they didn't have it, right? Ultimately, you sent the Howl into the Deep-Rooted Evil, and they died, and everybody was happy that another Counter Blessings deck lost. But like I said, this line has such minimal risk, not just in terms of the outcome of the game, but also in terms of like the turn-to-turn value, that it does not matter. And here, obviously, they only had 4 block in their hand, plus 3 life, so they had effectively 7 block, 8, and they died. So those are my thoughts on the game.